Hello, welcome to the Such Nice Work podcast. I'm Kendra, and you can find me on Ravelry as Kendra KS, on Etsy as Cutesy Poo Creations, on the blog at cutesypoocreations.blogspot.com, below in the YouTube comments, and here on the Cutesy Poo Creation channel on YouTube, and yeah, that's all my places. So yes, today is Tuesday, January 6th. And I apologize if I'm a little out of sorts. We've had the stomach flu around here. Started by me. Yay! I got to be the ringleader, and I seem to still be the one that is the worst off after it all. So that's why we missed last week. I had every intention of recording, and it was, first of all, too cold one day for everyone to go out and play. So instead of recording last Tuesday, I was going to record on Wednesday. And yeah, then I ended up sick. And week of my life has been eaten up by the stomach flu, which is the majority of the eating that has apparently happened in this house in the last week, because there have not been a lot of meals consumed, because everyone has been bleh. But yeah, so here I am, yay, going to try and have energy, yay. Drink some tea, hope that helps. So hello to anybody who has never been here before. I'm usually slightly more put together. I think mentally I'm trying to put my ducks in a row, and I don't know that it's all happening. But yeah. And if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Today I am wearing my brand new hat that I made, my Ronnie hat. I have a lot of things to show you that I've made or am making. Yeah, 2 weeks of crafting, that's a lot of time, even though I really haven't been doing much the last few days, as I was sick. I was sick enough I couldn't even crochet. So yeah, the Ronnie hat, I shall discuss it more later. My squeaky wheels. I had squeaky wheels that I talked about in the previous episode I did with my hubby for my birthday. But yeah, it's 2015, it's a new year. We're just gonna go on with new goals and forget all of the other things. I did not finish everything I had planned to finish. I wanted to finish all my whips that were like hanging around before New Year's, and yeah, didn't happen. But you know, I'm okay with that. So, moving on to this year's squeaky wheels. Brand new squeaky wheels. They're not quite as loud. So in my life, I would like to finish cleaning up the parlor on my list of 30 things to do while I'm 30. Which I've already kind of jumped in, and I'm doing some of them, which is odd, because I mean, I have a whole year, so knowing me, I should probably start somewhere around December 22nd, for the fact that my birthday is on December 25th, to do my list of 30 things, because I could totally get 30 things done in like 3 days. At least that's usually my logic. But I would like to clean up the parlor, because one of the goals for around the funny farm that my hubby came up with that he would like me to accomplish is to what I'm calling quarantining the crafting. So taking the crafts that I am not as hands-on in at the moment and putting it all in plastic totes and moving those totes to the basement, because we've had stuff. I used to not want to keep things in the basement because I was worried about like vermin and such, because we do live on a farm, so there are critters of all sorts. We frequently get frogs in our basement, which is kind of funny. We had a frog in there for a long time, but then we found him. He's not there anymore. But we put things in the basement now, because so far the clothes and stuff that we've had in totes have been just fine. So I am moving my sewing stuff down to the basement. I've already cleared off the shelves that I have behind my door in my parlor that had been full of fabric are cleared off, and I'm slowly moving my business stuff onto that, which I think will be good. Maybe get me a little more organized. Make it easier to access the stuff. Then I need to go through some of my stuff for making cards and organize it a little better. But yeah, already the fabric is already moved down to the basement, and now I just need to clear out some more of the shelving and stuff in there, and then the floor and stuff just needs to be swept really good, because that's the same room that has our wood stove in it, and so the floor is just a little messy from wood piling on it and stuff. But yeah, if that room was neater, I think I would feel better, because then we could use it and I wouldn't have to look at the mess. So that's my squeaky wheel, because I keep looking in there and going, gosh, I just really need to finish that. I would also, for my crafty goal, I need to, that's not a crafty goal. Anyways, I need to finish up and send in applications for next year's craft shows. Maybe that's why I put it under crafty. Anyways, I need to, work on some paperwork for the business side of things. And I guess with that, too, I kind of need to make a list of the things I need to start crafting now so that I have enough stock for next summer. Because I do have stock for my shop for going to craft shows and stuff. But, you know, warm cowls and shawls aren't really going to be marketable in Kansas in July when it's 100 and really humid. So I need to work on making some other things that will be more marketable. Okie dokie, moving along to I'm proud of yous. I got a lot of stuff made for Christmas, and I got it all made before Christmas. So that was pretty good. And most of the stuff has been in use, so it is not in pristine condition anymore because it has been being loved on by a almost 6-year-old, a 2.5-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So first off, I guess I'll show you the slippers I made. I made slippers for all of the kids, and this year for Christmas we went really low-key as far as decorating because neither the hubby or I had it in us to do much more. The bit of a tree you can see behind me over there is about it. That, and then we like strung up the garland that we used to use at the tree and hung our holiday cards on it. And yeah, that might be the extent of the decorating we did. We didn't even put ornaments on the tree. We just put lights and then the finger knit garland my daughter made for the fair this year. But my daughter has been making paper ornaments for herself and hanging them on the tree at will. And that's been festive and fun, and she's been enjoying that. But anyways, what I was getting at is we did not get the box out that had the stockings in it because all of that was packed away under the guest bed and behind the full-size tree and all that stuff. So yeah, we didn't have stockings. But we had some things that we'd gotten to go in stockings. And I was already making the kids these slippers, and I decided that I would put the slippers out and just stick their stuff in their slippers. So now my kids all walk around calling their slippers their stockings because, you know, they were their stockings, which is kind of cute. Kind of confusing at first till I realized what they meant when they were like, where's my stocking? Oh, you mean your slippers. Yeah, so the ones I made for my daughter, which are already being very well loved, as you can see, I kind of ran out of yarn, and I didn't really like the way I fastened them. She's very, very hard on her booties and slippers. They're very dirty already because she has been taking them around our perler. But they are made out of Red Heart Super Saver in Day Glow. There it is. And they turned out nice. They fit nice. I made these a little big, and I made these, they're using a pattern from Bernat called slipper boots, and I wanted them to go up their leg a little because my kids like to wear footy pajamas, and then their feet are still cold, but most of the slippers I've made them you can't fit over the footy part of the pajamas, but these you can, which has been nice. I need to repair the back, which I didn't put together very well, and overall I was unhappy with this pattern. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the way it's written, I just didn't like it. But I was kind of in it, and I was using kind of scraps of balls of yarn, so I made it work. But I need to mend them already, and yeah, but once I mend them, I think they'll be fine. But yeah, that's hers. And then for my middle son, for number 2, his are the closest to what the pattern actually calls for, because I had the most of this yarn, and that is Super Saver in Mexicana, and it's held double, and it goes, you know, they're like boots, and then I didn't have enough though to make the sole, so I made the sole out of Hunter Green. And there is a second one that goes with this. I did give him 2, and he hasn't wearing them around the house, so one of them is somewhere, quite possibly stuck in the couch, so I didn't want to go look for it, but one will do to show you what they look like. And then for number 3, I made these, which I sewed his together the morning of Christmas Eve when we did presents. And I don't know how I managed to. One of these, I sewed inside out in 2 different ways. How you can sew something inside out and then inside out again, I don't know, but I did. So there's some knots in places there shouldn't be, but whatever. He's a year old. He doesn't care. They're pretty cute, though. I like the way this is Super Saver in Banana Berry. And I like the way it worked up in Slippers. I will definitely do this again in some form. So as far as presents that I made for the kids, for the youngest, I made him a superhero cape like I made for the older 2, and it has his initial on it. And it's out of that Banana Berry as well. And I didn't grab it, so you've seen my superhero capes before. For my daughter, I bought her a book called Amanda and Her Alligator by Mo Willems. Totally recommend it. And so I made her an alligator. Where am I? The camera's a little hard to see. Hold on a sec. Let me move that. Ah, there I am. Okay. So, it's an alligator. And in the book, Amanda has an alligator. And then her alligator talks about something's itchy. And it's because he has a price tag attached to him. So, there's the price tag to go with it. This is a pattern from Your Inspirations for an alligator pencil case. So, rather than put the zipper in, I just stitched it up. And put buttons on for eyes. Because I thought they were cuter. So, yeah, that's been being played with. And then for my middle son, oh, actually, I have one more thing for my daughter. I forgot. So I made this. This is a historic FO. This is actually one of the very first things that I crocheted last year when I started crocheting. It is a shrug made out of Lion Brand homespun, and I think it's in Tudor. I want to say Tudor or Windsor, one of those, you know. Sounds like that, kind of. And I made it for myself, and at the time, I didn't understand gauge or how to tell as I was working that a pattern was just not going to be the size I thought it was, even if I was reaching gauge. I think, you know, you have to do a certain number of projects before you just on site are like, regardless of what they say is happening, this is not going to turn out. So, I made this, and it was funny because I tried it on in the car as soon as I finished it, and then I couldn't get my arms back out of it. And we're driving down the highway, and my husband's driving, and I'm trying to have him help me pull my arm out because my arms are stuck in the shrug, and I can't get it off. But I did, obviously. So then I tried to gift it to my mom, because it didn't fit me, and she is smaller than me. And she tried it on, and she didn't think it had enough coverage in front, because, you know, it's a shrug, so it doesn't have a lot of front to it. Which is, you know, just the way it's designed. But, I'm just going to move over a little, because I feel like I can't see what I'm doing. There we go, right there. That's me. Okay. And so it was just kind of sitting in the closet, and I wanted to do something with it, so I gave it to my daughter for Christmas. Turns out she loves this thing. She has barely taken it off. I mean, she takes it off to do things because the sleeves are really long. I told her I would stitch them up, but she actually likes that they're really long because when she's cold, she pulls them down over her hands. And she likes to sleep in it, but she has been wearing it like since Christmas, almost nonstop. In fact, she told me I could borrow it to podcast because she is upstairs right now playing. But that she might need to come down and get it from me. I informed her I would bring it back up to her when I'm done. I don't know why I keep trying to show it to you. I think it's because I'm trying to see it better. I will put it down now so I can quit waving it at you. But yeah, so that's the shrug, which, like I said, I finished a long time ago. And it had been in the closet. I found it. And I found it when I was looking for the 2 giraffes I made for my sons. This is one of them. This went to my older son. There he is. Little giraffe, little legs. Had a tail. The tail has already been yanked out, but that's okay. And its poor little neck doesn't really stay up. But he is being well loved. And this I made for my youngest son. Hello, little one. I made these. These are another one of the early projects I did. I did them for the Crochet Crowd. Had a thing, like a crochet along. Hello. And you could enter, you know, to win a thing of yarn and like a whole bag and stuff. And so I entered these two little guys. I did not win, but they were fun and they were cute. And yeah, that was one of the first things. They've been sitting in the closet waiting for Christmas ever since. And the pictures, so I'd taken the pictures to enter for the crochet along. So the pictures have been showing up in the rotation, like on our desktop of our computer and different places. And every time they show up, I like try and, you know, avoid them. My daughter keeps trying to talk about them, and it was very funny. And I kept being like, hey, those are surprises. Don't ruin surprises. I think she really thought she was going to get a giraffe this year for Christmas, but no giraffe. She got a cowl, or a shrug instead, and she was very happy. Though she can't remember the word shrug. She's going, where's that thing you made me, Mom? I don't remember what it's called. So, that's what it is. I don't remember what it's called in our house. And then the final two things I made for the kids, for my middle son, he is always telling us, he looks out the windows and goes, Mom, I see birds. Mom, I see bunnies. Whether there are birds or bunnies out there at the given moment, or at night he likes to tell me that the birds are sleeping and the bunnies are sleeping. So I made him a bunny, which he opened up and went, you know, he looked at it and we said, what is it? He goes, it's a monster. And we said, well, look at the ears. And then we're talking about it. And so now he goes, oh, it's a bunny. And its face is on crooked. I know. I recognize that. I forget which part I put on first. If it was an eye or it must have been that I put the mouth on crooked. But anyways, I put part of it on crooked and I just went with it. That's just, you know, the bunny's just leaning a little. But that's okay. And then I also made this little bird, which is super duper cute and has a little fluffy tail. And the bird did have eyes. It had very adorable button eyes. And then I put my son to bed, like the day after Christmas, maybe 2 days. And he wasn't really ready to go to sleep. And he proceeded to gnaw through and yank out the yarn for one of the eyes. And he brought me the eye, but the bird's eye fell off, Mom. And I looked at it and went, no, the bird's eye did not fall off. You yanked the bird's eye off. And then he proceeded to do the same thing like 2 days later. So right now we're debating whether he deserves eyes. We'll see. I don't know. If I'm going to embroider some on, or if he's just going to have an eyeless bird to remind him to be nice to his toys. So that is that for the things that I made for Christmas. Now, what other things have I made? I completed the fingerless mitts that I was going to make for my sister and did not. I ended up making them for myself, and I made them out of Lion Brand Heartland tweed and Black Canyon tweed. I don't know where they are right now. I had them. I wore them. We all got sick. I had them on one of the days we were sick. I think I threw them in the laundry because, yeah, they'd been around sick people, and I haven't washed them yet. So when they come out, I will show them to you because I'm really not happy with the way that the yarn is wearing, which is really upsetting because I really liked working with the Lion Brand Heartland tweed, and I liked the color of it, and I was really considering making like a cardigan or something out of it. But it's already really like pilly and looks really, really worn, which I think is really funny because, you know, everyone talks the smack about the Super Saver. But I have made some similar items out of Super Saver, and those things wear and wear and wear and don't look all like beat up, or at least things I've had have not. And I liked the Heartland tweed because it looked a little nicer than the Super tweed, but I don't think it's wearing as nice at all. So I'm hoping that after I wash them, maybe they'll look a little better. Maybe it's just because I haven't been washed. But I'm highly doubting it, and that's kind of upsetting. Also, I made a cowl and sent it to my sister for Christmas out of that same yarn, and I hope that it doesn't wear all gross for her, because, I mean, it's kind of crappy to send somebody a gift and then have it not be, you know, nice. So yeah, I will keep you up to date on what is happening with the fingerless mitts when I find them. And moving along, oh, the hat I am wearing, my Ronnie hat. This is the Ronnie hat from Drops Design. I made it out of some yarn that I got in a swap with somebody from Australia. It was very exciting. I think it was my first, like, real international mail. I was very excited. I squealed when it came in the mailbox. My kids were in the car. They laughed at me, and, like, we ran in the house, and I tore open the swap package, and I was all excited. It was also my first, like, big swap on Ravelry, and that was really fun. In fact, the rest of my gift from her, she made me a bunting. It's hanging over there above my window, making me happy every day. But yeah, so she sent me a ball of wool from Bendig Woolen Mills, I believe. I don't have the ball band on me at the exact moment. It's around this area. I just can't put my hands on it. I think it's in the color Autumn Mix. Something like that. But I really like it. It's like a brown, with a bit of gray in it. And I followed the Ronnie pattern pretty close, except, I followed somebody had made, a few modifications on their project page, and I can't remember who it is now, but it's like, if you look at the pattern, it's the only person that really has mods listed. And they mentioned that they, changed the way they did the increases at the beginning, because otherwise it turns out pointy. And I noticed from everybody else's pictures that, yeah, it gets this, like, odd, like, elfin point to it, and I didn't want that. So I did normal increases to start. And then, had, like, this fan motif around for the ribbing. And the, instructions tell you to basically use the same, hook size. And I ended up going up from, let's see, I did the hat in a G, I believe, and I did the ribbing stuff in a K. Because any smaller, it, like, pinched, and it made the hat not fit, and it also made the fan pattern look funky. So that's what I ended up doing, and it worked, and it's super duper comfy. I don't know if it's the most flattering hat style on me, but it's definitely long enough. It covers my ears. There is also the option I can, like, roll it down more, which I have done if I've been outside in the cold. I've also been in a store wearing it and rolled it up, like, higher, so that it was a little less in my face, and still keeping the hat hair covered, but less warm on my ears and stuff. So yeah, I think it's a very nice pattern. I think it looks nice. I really like the hat. I've worn it a lot. So I really need to obviously get on making myself some more hats, because it's cold and I like wearing a hat lately. But I don't have very many. And the ones I do have are mostly not made by me, and for whatever reason now it really bothers me to wear things that are yarny that I did not make. Like, I really like this sweater, but yeah, it kind of bothers me that I didn't make it. Not that I could have knit this, but I could have made something for myself in a similar fashion. So apparently I need to get my yarny crafting on and make myself some winter clothes for next year, because otherwise I'm gonna just be sad all the time because I'm not wearing stuff I made. Other things that I accomplished. Oh yes, so I was trying to get through all of my whips and finish them before the new year, and instead I thought, hey, let's start some new projects. So the one that I started and finished, well, I haven't woven in all the ends, but I made this bag for the Red Heart lovers, because I figured if I'm already using Red Heart all the time because I have a bunch of it in my stash, I should, join a group where I might be able to win some stuff for the crochet alongs. So, this market bag, which is actually based on a Lion brand pattern. So I made this bag in lovely K-State colors. It might possibly be getting sold here at some point. I do not know, or if I will keep it. I just kind of made it to make it and join along with that. And then I decided this year that I wanted to make some dishcloths. My nose is dripping. Some dishcloths to sell, and also just kind of make. When I started crocheting, I know that that's like a very common thing that people start with making, is let's make lots of dishcloths. I just kind of skipped that step. I mean, I made two, because I found them when I got out the shrug and the giraffes. There were 2 dishcloths in there that I had started making, I guess with the intent for Christmas presents. And I decided that the quality of them is not to my current standards. I mean, it had been almost a year. So, and a lot of crocheting in the meantime. So my quality has gone up. So those are now in our drawer for our personal use, rather than gifting them to somebody else. And this year I wanted to make some more dishcloths. So I had joined a group. I also wanted to join more groups on Ravelry. Not sure join them, but be more active on groups, because I've joined a ton of groups. Most of them for podcasts, which, I don't know, there's not necessarily a lot to do in a lot of them. Most of them are knitting podcasts, and by most, I mean all, because almost everything I've encountered are knitting podcasts. Yeah, most of the groups I'm in are podcast groups. And so yeah, there's not necessarily a lot to do in them, unless there's a particular contest or something special, like or a knit along, crochet along. Some of them are just knit alongs, or some of them I can't tell. So then I just don't enter. But anyways, I decided I want to make more dishcloths. So I had joined a dishcloth group a while ago, but never really started making them. But I decided this is the year. And so this week was week 1 of January, which is theme week. And so in the group, somebody is assigned to host, and they pick a knit pattern and a crochet pattern. Wow, that red really messes with the color balance. They decide on a knit and a crochet pattern for a dishcloth and post it, and then, you make it. And this week's theme, the woman picked time. And so we made this, which is the Wavy Daisy dishcloth. And it looks like time because there's like 12, I think, of the holes or whatever. But yeah, it turned out, it was a nice pattern. It went super quick. I did it between when the kids went to bed and my husband left for work, so in under 2 hours, and that was with my youngest still being awake, so dealing with him and stuff and putting him to bed. But yeah, it was a quick pattern. I think it turned out nice. I think it would be a usable size, and I kind of like that it has a bit of it's not a completely flat laying to begin with, because as you use it, I think it will stretch a little better that way, and not get all, bent out of shape. So yes, I've been working on that. And then I have a bunch of things I've been working on but have not completed. I was trying really hard to get my whips done from last year, except the Afghan, which is kind of backburnered, but a priority backburner, if that makes any sense. So I finished the crocheting of the Giant's scarf for my husband's uncle. And I wove all the ends in up to the middle. I've been here at the Stitch Minder when I last showed it to you. And if you don't remember, this scarf is this is the Giants' entire season. I started making it actually before they won the World Series. But all of the orange stripes are home wins, black stripes are away wins, and then the gray stripes are home and away losses. And so there's, a strip for every game that they played this year. So I got into here, and then I decided, my husband pointed out that was where the All-Star game took place. So I took a little break, and I wove in all of these ends, which is a big old pain in the butt. And I realized that the scarf was way more effort than I realized when I started. Not that his uncle is not worth the effort, and I'm hoping that he will like it. Though I did tell my husband, his uncle's reaction to the scarf really does determine whether or not he is further craft worthy. But usually he has had very nice reactions to other things I've crafted in the past. We'll see, as far as yarn things, how that all turns out. So I did the rest, and I'm in the process of weaving in the ends. Actually, I think one whole side of this might even be woven but not clipped, because I was working on this on New Year's Eve when I got sick. As I was getting sick, I was doing this. I was like, I don't feel so good. So then I put it away, and I have not worked on it since. But that needs to get finished so that it can go in a little envelope and get mailed to him. Though his birthday is in February, and I was thinking I might make him a hat to go with it, which I could bust out in like an afternoon. And I think I'm going to do the hat in stripes for, haven't decided if I'm going to do a Giants hat to match, in which case I would do a stripe for each of the games in the postseason. Or I have a hat pattern that has 16 rounds that I like using, and I was going to do that in A's colors, because he is an A's fan. or not A's colors, 49ers colors. Because yes, this is Giants. He does like the A's as well, as far as baseball is concerned. But for 16 weeks, 16 games, 49ers would be his thing. So I might do that and make him a football hat to go with his baseball scarf. So yes, I'm in process on that. And this is my leg warmer that I started. I started this the week I started podcasting. When I uploaded my first podcast before I understood things like file compression, and for whatever reason the internet around here was being terribly slow that week. Anyways, it took a bajillion hours. Not quite a bajillion. It took a bajillion on like week 3. It took like half a bajillion hours for me to upload the podcast that week. And at the time I also could not do anything else on the internet because the bandwidth was not working. So yeah, I started making myself a pair of leg warmers. And I like them. They're out of Red Heart Super Saver and Dayglow. They will go from my ankle all the way up to my knee. So I could maybe wear them under some skirts and stuff with leggings under them. So I could still wear those during the winter. And this is almost done. I have like just a few rows of the ribbing left on this one, and I had run out of the skein of yarn. I was working on it in bed one night. And I have since pulled out another skein of yarn so that I can finish this one and get working on the other. So anyways, I was working on this, and I was almost done with the ribbing, and then I ran out of yarn. And then I realized, I needed to get more yarn, which I had upstairs, but I had to like get it out. And so I went and got the more yarn, and then I was going to do more, and I went on Ravelry to search for the pattern, because I was like, oh, well, I'm going to need to start the next one soon. Can't find the pattern anywhere. And I'm looking through all of the patterns for leg warmers, this whole thing, and then I'm like, I don't even remember the name of the pattern. And so I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to have to reverse engineer this off the one I have, and that's just going to be a pain, because I have to read all my crocheting, and blah, blah, blah. So then I think about it for a couple of days, and I wake up the next morning, and I remember the name of the pattern. It's something about mom's leg warmers. So then I go, and Google is my friend. I Google searched it and found that I hadn't even gotten the pattern off Ravelry. And then I remembered it's because I didn't like any of the Ravelry leg warmers. They either weren't big enough, they weren't covering enough, they were all like cutesy, and I just really wanted like functional, covering, thick leg warmers. That's what I wanted. No like holes and stuff, because holes let in cold air. And that I had found this like recipe on the site, and now I can't remember the name of the site. I'm sorry. But anyways, they're called Mom's Crochet Leg Warmers, and I will have it in the show notes. I think they're in old show notes, but anyways, I will have them linked somehow. So this is almost a hoe of my leg warmers, and I now have found the patterns so that I can make the second one so that not just one leg has to be warm. Or I could just alternate it, let my left leg be warm for a while, and when it was toasty, switch to my right, and then go back and forth and back and forth. Probably wouldn't be very effective if I had shoes on, though. So I will work on those. So those will probably be somewhat prioritized, because I would like to be wearing them. I really do need to finish the stuff for myself, because once I have the stuff made, I really do enjoy wearing it. So what else am I working on? I have started, oh, it's over here. I will grab it. I have started another shawl. I realized that the next holiday coming up was Valentine's Day, and the place where I take some of my work to consign it, I should probably have some Valentine's-y things to take in there. So I started making a new shawl out of Super Saver in amethyst, and it doesn't look very impressive right now, but it's going to have little hearts in it. There's a heart right here, but you can't see it very well right now, I don't think. I think it'll become more apparent as the pattern progresses, because it's right here. It's called I Netted a Heart Shawl Crochet Pattern from Examiner.com. And it's on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. There it is. There'll be little hearts all over it. So I thought that'd be kind of cute. And it's been fun. I was working on it the other day while my daughter was at basketball clinic. And so I was sitting on the ground, with the thump, thump, thump of the basketballs next to me, trying to keep counting my stitches. The other thing I've been working on my list of 30 things to do on 30 is I'm supposed to make a lovey for my youngest. So I've started, this is going to be the head of his elephant. It's kind of ginormous. It didn't start out quite this ginormous. It is out of peaches and cream because, well, I had it. And this color matches, I picked some fabric, which, do I have it cut out here? No. I have like this lavender chenille fabric, and I also had some like bluish fabric like this that has like lightning bolts and stuff all over it. So those are going to be the two sides of the lovey. The little elephant head on it, and it's going to, the pattern I've printed out doesn't have a picture on it. Anyways, you all know what elephants look like. It's going to be like an elephant, head, ears, trunk. And we thought that he would think that was cool. And I started working it up, and at first I was using a D hook, because it was making a really good, like, tight fabric. But I kind of laughed because it reminded me of, like, a hacky sack. You know how they're really, really tightly woven? Especially when you first get them and then you have to, like, work them until they get soft. But I was bending my hook, like, as I was doing it. The first day I worked on it, I wasn't having a big problem. I put it down for a few days and picked it back up to work on it. And, like, every stitch I did, I was just, the hook was bending scarily, so I kind of went up a size, and I think I ended up doing most of this in an F, D, F, yeah. I went up to an F, because that was the size I could comfortably do it at, but still get a somewhat tight fabric. So, I think it'll be fine. It's a little big, but I think he will still enjoy it. Because, I mean, the blankety part is going to be underneath, so that won't take up much room. So yes, I've been working on that, and then I think this is the final, will I procrastinate or will I prioritize? And this one I'm kind of prioritizing right now. It is another thing for two different things. It is another item that I am hopefully going to take to the consignment, or the place I consign. And it is called the Janet Cowl. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. And they are doing this as this month's crochet along portion. They're doing cowls in the Red Heart Lovers group. And there's a knit pattern and a crochet pattern that are picked. And this is the crochet pattern. And this is in Red Heart Super Saver and Plum Pudding, which I was like, I'm just going to grab something variegated out of my stash and make the cowl out of that. And I went up there and went, oh my goodness, I have like perfect Valentine's yarn. So Plum Pudding. And if you're looking for good Valentine's colorway, Plum Pudding is super duper cute. And I also think it could be like a useful, especially for like kids things. Not, you know, you could give them as a Valentine's present, but they could still wear it and the rest of the winter and it wouldn't be a problem of looking all like pink and barfy. But yeah, what else? Oh, there's one more thing I'm working on. I am making, for the other group that I am active in, which would be the Amigurumi Swap group, their new crochet along is a sheep for January. And every time I say the word sheep, I think of that tire commercial where they're driving and they go, sheep! I think it's Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head are driving. They say sheep because there's sheep in the road, and then he like veers. And has anybody else seen that? Anyway, it's very funny. So anyway, I'm making a sheep! And I'm making it out of Super Saver and Aran Fleck. This is left over from, what did I make out of this? Aran. Oh, my son, I made him a giraffe pillow. My son likes giraffes. I made him, my middle son, a giraffe pillow for his birthday in June. And the Aran Fleck was the background. Which, by the way, if you are anti-Super Saver, the Fleck ones are super soft. They're actually much softer than a lot of the other acrylic yarns I've worked with. So you might look into that. And I think the colors are really nice. Because I've done a lot with Buff Fleck. Because I bought a bunch of it for something and then decided not to make that project. So now I use it for a lot of things because I have a bajillion skeins. I think I actually have like 11 skeins, which is a lot with a Super Saver skein. Because the skeins go a decent amount of yardage. But yeah, the Aran Fleck had a completely different texture than the Buff Fleck. And yeah, I've been making this the J hook. The instructions said to use like a D. And I had to go up to a J for me to be able to make these baubles. But the pattern is from, I think it's called Fugly Crochet. You can find that online. So moving along, I think my troops upstairs might be getting a little restless. Can you hear my son crying? My husband's up there with them, so the crying should cease soon. There was a nap happening, but I don't think it's happening anymore. So what I'm reading, I am still reading Anne of the Island. Last night I was reading it in the car to my daughter before we went into Taekwondo, and I'm just really ready for this book to be over. It just isn't, the story just isn't really there. And they keep telling people I just don't care about. So hopefully they're gonna, it sounds like they're getting close to bringing it back around to people I care about, and then we can move along to the next book, which hopefully is more about people I care about. We also have been listening to, we finished our Sparkle Stories, the Advent calendar, and we enjoyed it so much that for Christmas, my husband and I got our kids the 12 Days in Tullyport, 12 Days of Christmas story that followed it. So, you know, there's another 12 stories, and each one is like 25 or 30 minutes, and so they've really been enjoying listening to their Martin and Sylvia every night before we go to bed. So even once these are done, I mean, we have a bunch of the audiobooks that I'm going to just start, like, working our way through. I haven't decided if we're going to just pick one of the story sets and go with it, or if we're going to do a different one every day of the week. Because we have all of the Martin and Sylvia stories for every week. But I totally recommend checking out sparklestories.com. Great audiobooks for kids. Very imaginative, not creepy, won't give your kids nightmares. Also not like super wholesome where you can't stand it, but nice. Nice stories about a brother and sister who get along, but not in like a creepy, like fakey way. So yeah, okay. So time has passed. People have been fed. Everyone is sleeping, but me. So theoretically, I should be able to finish this all, right? We'll see. So, on to what I'm watching. Steve and I have been watching Star Trek Next Generation, which has finally gotten good. I'd heard that there was a point when the, basically the show just got better. And I had not really felt like binge watching what we had watched so far. I mean, we'd watch a little here and there, but since there's not an episodic nature, like, there's not a story arc, they're individual episodes, with Next Generation, I hadn't really wanted to just, like, sit down and, you know, work my way through them like I had when I watched Deep Space Nine. I would find reasons, which is not good, to sit down in front of my Netflix and, power through them all, because I was really enjoying it. I just hadn't really gotten that same thing, from Next Generation. But now I have. It's made the shift. I heard from things that I'd read that had something to do with, like, Gene Roddenberry and when they actually were making the show, that something changed about the writing, and then it got better. Clearly, they've gotten more money now, because in the seasons that we are now on, I think it's season 3, but the sets look a lot nicer. It's interesting, too, throughout the show to watch them, you know, the uniforms change, and the makeup and special effects change, too. And so that's kind of interesting, too. But yes, really enjoying Star Trek. I actually, on Ravelry, and my attempts to get a bit more involved on Ravelry and forums and such, have signed up to be part of the Star Trek Fleet Fiber or something. Kind of like the Harry Potter House Cup, but Star Trek. So I have signed up for that. So that will be fun. And what else am I watching? I'm watching House of Cards. Yeah, ignore that face, Steve. On my list of things I wanted to do in my 30th year, one of the things that Steve picked for me to watch is season 1 of House of Cards. I'm not enjoying it very much at all. It just isn't interesting to me, and the people all look alike, which I think might be part of their point, is like that everybody in Washington and in politics, they're all just kind of the same person. But when you're watching a show, it's just not very useful when the people look similar, especially as you're trying to, like, get into it. And maybe it'll hook me. I'm hoping it'll hook me soon. because I have a bunch of episodes left to watch. And I am going to watch them all. But so far, not a big fan. And then the last couple of days, I forgot what made me look something up, or I found something. Anyways, on YouTube, I found some episodes of 19 Kids and Counting. And so I was watching some of that. And then something else led me to start watching Sister Wives. Both shows that I used to watch when we had cable and I would, or like satellite, I'd watch them on the DVR. I decided that it's because my brain is tired from being sick and I need like fluffy candy for my brain. And those kind of shows are just fluffy candy for your brain. So my brain is eating them up. Binging on them, in fact. So, you know, it won't take me long to get through them, and then I'll move on to something with a bit more substance again. Also, since last time I recorded, I watched a documentary on Netflix called Bert and His Bees, which I found very interesting. It was about Bert, of Bert's Bees, you know, like the lip stuff and the hand stuff and all the stuff. And it kind of tells the story of how it all came to be. Yeah, it was kind of interesting because, I mean, I clearly could tell from looking at Bert's Bees, it is not as a, all natural and, you know, homegrown as I think people like to think it is. Just because there's a picture of a guy with a beard on the tin does not mean that came directly out of a, you know, somebody's hive. I think they're owned by Clorox, it was saying, which, yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting documentary to watch. Yeah, it's been a little while since I watched it, so I don't really have anything else to say about that, but worth a watch. Interesting information. So moving along to things on the farm, a couple of them are acquisitions of mine, things that I have received. I mentioned on the last podcast that I filmed with Steve that I had found out that I won the Hatch Knit Along, Craft Along, whatever, on the Naughty Knitter. And I got my prize! It's a project bag made by the Naughty Knitter. Patricia herself has these beautiful trees. And yeah, you can listen to her podcast. I listen on it. I listen to it on YouTube. I'm not sure if you can listen to it other places. And you can check her out. She also has a group on Ravelry. So if you look up The Naughty Knitter, that is the podcast. And the bag is very cute. It has the trees, like I was saying. And the trees are very fun because Patricia is from Northern California, where I used to live, and it's timber country, so I like that it has trees. It has this little red zipper. It has a little label inside. But the thing I liked, how along the zipper, you see how the little contrasty fabric even is along the zippers. I just can't put zippers in that nice. At least not yet. But I like the bag. It's my first official project bag, and so it has had multiple projects in it. First thing I had in it was this hat, and then I finished the hat. And then I had my leg warmers in it for a little bit, and then I finished that ball of yarn, and then had a shawl in it for a little bit, and then now it has my Janet cowl in it. So it's getting a lot of use already. I do see why people like the smaller bags, because the bags I have most of my stuff in are much larger than I need them to be. But I have them around, and yeah, that means they're free. Free is good. Free means more money for yarn. So yes, moving along. So I won that. And the second thing is holidays. They happened. Did they happen at your house too? I had Christmas Eve, which was very nice. We opened presents, and the kids had a good time, and it was fairly low-key. That was really kind of the theme of our holiday this year. Low-key. Like, if it seemed like it was going to be stressful or piss me off, we just didn't do it. And Steve and I were talking about that, about how, like, how much more enjoyable it was to just do the enjoying instead of doing the things that you're supposed to do because they're supposed to be enjoyable. So yeah, it was just kind of nice to hang out, and it wasn't that different from most other days other than the fact that we ate the foods that we always eat because we make homemade pizza. And we still had Christmas candy, which is now all in my belly. was in my belly like a week ago. Now it's gone. Well, not everything that was in my belly a week ago is gone. But we had that, and I'm trying to think if we had anything exceptional about Christmas presents or anything. Christmas just kind of happened. Though I must say, it was the best Christmas I can remember. At no point on Christmas did I feel like I wanted to cry, or like I was upset, or got really mad. And, I don't remember Christmas, let's see, in 30 years, I don't really remember a Christmas where that hasn't happened. So that was good. Hopefully we can just repeat this again in future years. And then as far as my birthday, that went really well also. Again, low key, just kind of hung out. Got to crochet some. I took a nap. Celebratory holiday naps are very important. Yeah. And then I guess the next holiday would have been New Year's Eve. And that was good. We built a gingerbread train out of a kit that we'd gotten on clearance at Walmart. It was about $4.50 worth of fun, which is about what I paid for it. I would not have paid full price. But the little tray they had that like holds the sides up really made putting a gingerbread house together much easier, much more fun. Because, you know, when you tip them over, and that's just not good. Though really, talking about the gingerbread house, it just kind of grotesque. It was gross to me after I got sick, and yeah, we threw the rest of it out. I don't think it had anything to do with the sick. It just came shortly before the sick, and so yeah, house overall not that great, but it was fun to make. And then my daughter had gotten the game Spot It for Christmas. In part, we asked for it because I'd looked at it several times, but then on the Fat Squirrel, she was talking about games before Christmas, and she'd mentioned Spot It specifically and explained like how you actually play it, and it looked really super duper fun to me. And I was like, oh my goodness, now that I've actually seen it, we need to own this game that I keep almost buying. So we actually got it from somebody, and yeah, we played it, and my family has decided I need a handicap because I win by too much. So yeah, it was kind of like in The Incredibles at the end, like how Dash, their son, who runs really fast, that's like his superpower, he wants to be on like the track team and stuff, but they don't want him to be in physical competition with other people because he's too fast. So they show him at the end, he's like running, and they're like, no, slow down, and then he like walks, and everyone's passing him, like, no, don't lose, and yeah, that's how it felt playing Spot It once I tried to handicap myself. Because I'd just find the match, and then I'd count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I'd say it. Because when I was just saying the matches, I was winning by too much. And that kind of took the fun away for me. But I think everyone else still had a good time. Yeah. And then we were all going to stay up till midnight. The kids started melting, so they kind of went to sleep, and then we decided that instead of doing midnight Kansas time, we just watched the live feed from New York at 11 o'clock. And a little before that, I started to feel icky. And then I was kind of on the couch, half asleep, not feeling well. Ball dropped. Daughter went to sleep. Everyone else went to bed. And then I woke up puking in the middle of the night. And then everybody got sick. So that was the rest of our holiday fireworks, as you may say. Let's see. Another thing that's exciting on the farm. Oh, it is winter. I can tell because I have switched from coffee to tea. Every year, for whatever reason, I like to drink hot coffee all summer long. And then it gets to be winter. And it's like I run on hot tea. That's all just constantly hot tea. I don't know if it's I'm trying to warm myself from the inside out or what, but I hadn't made the switch yet this winter from, like, I still really want a coffee, not tea, and then all of a sudden, on, like, the day before Christmas or something, I was just like, tea, that's all I wanted was tea, and so, yeah, I've been on a tea kick ever since. So that's exciting, especially because it's been very, very cold, because it's definitely winter here, very, very cold. And last night I started Taekwondo. That was fun. I'm a white belt. And so I was working on my punches and my kicks, and I got to beat the crap out of a punching bag, which was fun. I'd never really had access to a punching bag since I've been as big as a punching bag, because I did do some karate stuff when I was a kid. But when you're little and you like punch a punching bag, you can only punch it so hard because, well, it kind of punches back and the bag is so much bigger than you. But now that I am appropriately sized to the bag, I actually get to like punch it. And so hopefully that will be a good use for my negative emotions. The things that crochet does not take care of, Taekwondo hopefully will. So yes, and I've also been, I'm all ready for the new year. I've got myself a little binder, and I went and printed out all my calendars, and I downloaded my new calendar. I'm going to try and follow the Motivated Moms cleaning schedule again this year. I did that for a while last year and found that very useful. And it helps us right now to have like an assignment list. Just like it helps us to have an assignment list for school, which is also in my binder. So my binder kind of is a go-to place for everything for my week. I have my financial stuff in here. I'm going to have my lesson plans, our cleaning schedules. I'm starting to do some meal planning. Steve and I had started to count Weight Watchers points again. It's kind of funny because I know everybody's probably all like, oh, new year, resolution time. And really this has nothing to do with it being the new year. I tend to get back on board with life about every season. So 4 times a year. I reset. And just kind of happened that this one fell toward the new year, and then I got sick, and so kind of missed the first week of the new year because we had kind of started to get the ball rolling on being back on board with things being really good and getting things done, and then we weren't anymore. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited about my little binder I put together. I think it will be useful. Oh, and the last fun thing, I forgot I got a birthday present. I think I mentioned that for my birthday I was going to be getting a drop spindle. And here it is. My very own drop spindle. It's got these little flowers on it. And it is a bottom whirl, and it is fairly heavy. I think it's more than 2 ounces. Which I got because I primarily like chunkier yarns. And so I didn't care if it spun as quickly as the top whirls do. And that also is a kind of a longer shaft, so I can pack a lot on there. And I got it from Maine Woods Yarn and Fiber on Etsy. Maine Woods. And it came with this. So I got an ounce of just like white wool that I have been working my way through. And then this braid, which is called Pumpkin Patch, which I am excited to get to working on. Probably when I'm done podcasting, I think I'm going to spin for a little bit. So I'd like to work my way through the white so I can get on the pumpkin patch, because I just got my shipping confirmation this afternoon that my Pancake and Lulu Fiber Club is on the way. So I signed up for 6 months of the Fiber Club for my birthday, which, actually, if you know anybody that has winter birthdays, this might be a really good thing to do. I always find it really hard with birthday presents and my birthday being on Christmas that I get like all my gifts for the year come in like 1 week. So people are like, what do you want? And I mean, there's only so many things you need as an adult. When you want things, you go buy them, right? I do. So I don't necessarily have like a big long list, or a big long list that other people can easily procure for me. And so it's kind of hard to get all your gifts at once. Also, there's not that fun time in like the middle of the year when, ooh, present day, you know, I don't have to have them. So, I had in the past thought about getting like a fruit of the month, or like, you know, like a plant of the month or something sent to me. But, it always feels like a lot of money up front, and, or, the monthly payment, which just kind of pains me to see the monthly payment. It's one thing just get out of the way. Like, yay, it's a gift, and then I don't have to think about it. But if it's something that's recurring payments, I'd be more likely to, like, stop it, as I felt bad in the middle of the year. But in this case, I paid up front for my 6 months, and that's exciting. And yeah, so for the next 6 months, from now till summer, I will be getting a beautiful braid of fiber from Pancake and Lulu to spin. And oh, I actually have already spun some of my white wool, and yes, these are hideous, so don't judge. These are my firsts. So these are not the pink, but these are what I have done so far. And it's very thick and thin, but I was figuring out what to do. This one's not as bad. But yeah, so figuring out how to spin, really enjoying it, looking forward to getting better. I found this interesting thing online about basically like a build-it-yourself spinning wheel. What's it called? A Dedeco or something like that. So, been looking at that. I told Steve I'm going to want one because I think it would just be kind of fun. Though he always jokes that I don't really need a spinning wheel till I have sheep. But those will be coming. Not yet. Yeah, I need to be no longer changing diapers before I'm willing to clean up a large animal's poop. Too many people's poop to shovel as it is. So yeah, that will be forthcoming. And I keep joking, but I really want like an alpaca or a sheep or whatever, and I want to name them like Polly and Esther. That way I can make polyester blend yarn. And I really want to have a sheep and name it acrylic, so I can make acrylic yarn, because that would be fun for me. I don't know why. Probably because I'm a dork. But yes, I guess it's time to say goodbye already. I've had a lot to say. Sorry if the energy level's been all like funky today. My energy level just in general is kind of all funky today. But yes, I missed you all last week, other than the fact that I don't really remember the day I didn't podcast. But if I did, I would have missed you that day, and in general, I missed getting this up. So I'm glad I got a chance to do it, and I look forward to the rest of the year. I will keep plugging away at my list of things to do while I'm 30, and I will actually, the list is posted on the blog, and then I will post updates to that like once a month, probably at the end of January. I will do an update to like where I'm at on what I'm doing with that, and what my plans are. So yeah, I'm working on that, and also I'm going to try and work through 30 full skeins, including all the little end bits, this year while I'm 30. So I think I've only cracked into one brand new skein. So the one that the Janet cowl is made out of, I think is the first thing that I'm not using like scraps I have laying around. So yes, only the brand new ones count, because I want to use full skeins. So yep. Well, I hope you all have a lovely week and that you had a great 2 weeks before now. And I will hopefully see you all next Tuesday, because my little peoples and my hubby will all be at the library. So I'll be back to my regular schedule. So if you're still with me, then I love you more than cows and cheese and applesauce. And I hope that you have a good one and continue to make such nice work.